Okay, I have a longer video with more examples on factoring trinomials where a does not equal 1, but none of them address what you do when a is a negative. And so I wanted to make this short video, it just has 3 examples, to explain what you do when a is a negative. You still start the process the same way, and you look at your problem and see if you have a common factor. If you look at number 1, 8, 10, and 8, negative 8, negative 10, and 3 do not have a common factor. So there's no common factor here. Look at number 2, though, and I apologize for the messiness. Number 2, I have negative 10x squared, 26x, and 12. We do have a common factor here of 2. And then look at this one here at the bottom. And I think students will see this one a lot easier. I have negative 12, negative 18, and negative 6. All of those numbers are divisible by 6. They're also divisible by negative 6. Okay, let me start back with number 1. No common factor, but a is a negative. Then you want to factor out a negative 1 first. That's what you want to do. You want to make a be positive. Every problem that you encounter, every quadratic that you encounter, you want to make sure your a value is positive. So I'm going to pull out a negative. Negative 8x squared divided by negative 1 is positive 8x squared. Negative 10x divided by negative 1 is positive 10x. Positive 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 3. So I really have not changed my problem. If I distribute negative 1, I still get this same, trinomial that I started with. So I really haven't changed my problem. But now a is 8, b is 10, and c is negative 3. Okay, I want to do this, so I'll have it. I want to go ahead and put negative 1 down here, my answer, so I don't forget it. I always do that with my greatest common factor or anything else. I always try to do that. I'm going to factor these using bottoms up. To me, I just think that's easier, the bottoms up method. If you like the other method, factoring by grouping, you are welcome to do that. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about as far as factoring by grouping, then look up on my channel, Factoring Trinomials where a does not equal 1, and you'll see both methods, factoring by grouping and bottoms up. Okay, so I am going to make my chart. A times C, sum of B. Okay, I want things that multiply to give me negative 24 and add to give me 10. The things that multiply, one's going to be positive and one's going to be negative. I want a positive sum, so that means the bigger number is going to be a positive. So we're looking at negative 1 and 24, negative 2 and 12, negative 3 and 8, negative 4 and 6, negative 5 won't go into it, 6 and negative 4. So these are all the ones that factors of negative 24. Which of these gives me a sum, which means you're adding? Negative 1 plus 24 gives me 23. Negative 2 plus 12, that gives me 10. This pair gives me a sum of 10. So I'm going to use negative 2 and positive 12. Now remember, with bottoms up, you don't just go straight to the answer. I need to go here. I need to put my middle variable x. I need to put negative 2 and positive 12. Since a is not 1, now I need to place a under both factors that I just put there. I'm going to put 8 under both of these, and I'm going to reduce and bottoms up. So both of these are divisible by 2, so that would become x minus 1/4. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. On the next one, both of these are divisible by 4. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Okay, so now I'm going to do bottoms up, which literally means take the denominator and place it up beside of the variable as a coefficient. So I'm going to take my denominator of 2 and place it up beside the variable as a coefficient bottoms up. Okay, so now I'm going to have -1 here, and I'm going to have 4x minus 1 and 2x plus 3. So that's how you would factor a trinomial where your a value is negative. Okay, let's look at the next one. And I said earlier for number 2, we have a common factor of 2. But I want my a value to be positive. So that means I'm going to factor out a -2. I'm going to divide each of these by -2. Okay, what's left when I factor out -2? 5x squared minus 13x minus 6. Okay, so now a is 5, b is -13, and c is -6. I'm going to bring this 2 down, -2, to my answer. I'm going to make my chart. I'll make it over here. A times c. 5 times -6 is -30. Sum of -13. Okay, so this time I want a negative product. And in that product, I want the sum to be negative. So that means I'm going to have a positive factor and a negative factor. And the negative factor needs to be the largest number to get a negative sum. So I'm going to have 1 times -30, 2 times -15, 3 times -10, 4 does not go into 30, 5 times -6. And that's it. Okay, then I need to look at these and figure out, and you can do this in your head, which of these 4 pairs of factors, when I add them, do I get -13? And hopefully you see 2 plus -15 would be -13. Okay, so that means I'm going to have x plus 2 and x minus 15. Now, why didn't I go ahead and put that where my answer is? Because a is not 1. Now I have to place a under both factors that I've just placed there. Reduce, which my first one will not reduce, so I can go ahead and do bottoms up. So 5x plus 2. This one will reduce. 15 and 5 have a common factor of 5. So if I reduce that, I'll have x minus 15 divided by 5 is 3. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And then I would do bottoms up, which would just be 1x. So I would just have x minus 3. That's the answer to question 2. One more. Okay, here we said we had a common factor of 6. A is negative, so I need to pull out a -6. And all of these do have a common factor of -6, so that actually works there and is very obvious. So 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. Is that right? Yes. Factors of a times c. Oh, I didn't name a, b, and c. A is 2, b is 3, c is 1. Factors of a times c. That'll give me a sum of b. Okay, I want a positive product, so that means, and a positive sum, so that means both of them are positive. 1 plus 2 is 3. And I'm going to go ahead and bring my 6 down here to my answer, my -6. This is where my final answer is going to go. And then I'm going to put x plus 1 and x plus 2 because that's what works. Since a is not 1, I'm going to put a underneath both of these, reduce, and bottoms up. Notice I can't reduce 1/2, so I'm going to do bottoms up. So that would be 2x plus 1. 2 over 2 reduces to 1, so I just have x plus 1. And there's my answer. I certainly hope that helps you to factor trinomials where a is not 1 and a is a negative.